temporarily. I don't know what the hell that was about. Let me see if this other thing is working now. I'm going to check on my other connection because right now I'm connected to Ethernet. I can get on the Wi-Fi.
That internet connection of hers sometimes, I don't even know. Maybe it's revenge because of the net neutrality not passing in the Senate. Well,
I honestly think they are kind of fucking with me because about 2 months, Ajit Pai pulled his little stunt at the FCC with that shit-eating grin on his face, in spite of everything the people had been saying. I've had this 6 years. I've been in more or less the same place. I did move somewhat recently that I was using then, and so I've till my previous imaging, the battery started melting due to constant use, basically almost constant use anyway.
That sucks.
Yeah, but that was no problem. It was replaced free of charge and all that stuff. And so I've been using this current one for a little, the number of bars on the 4G. And then a couple of months ago, like I said, shortly after Ajit Pai pulled his stunt there with his shit-eating grin, dropping down to 3G at times, and sometimes down to 1G, and sometimes getting no connection at all. So about 3 weeks ago, I called them, and so they had supposedly sent someone out here to check their tower. I don't know that I believe that. I only get so much information from customer service, and they keep telling me, well, they're not going to tell us this, they're not going to tell us that. And I'm like, well, but anyway, so they said they had done their investigation and that my option was to buy an external antenna, which, you know, I'd have to hire someone to come out here and climb up on the roof to put it up because I'm not going up there, right? So, and I'm thinking, well, you know, I pay you guys a hell of a lot of money already. I don't really think I should have to pay you more, and why would anything have changed? I can see your tower from, you know, from the window that I keep the jetpack in, right? I have to use binoculars, but it's there, and it's not really that far away. It's just, you know, it's up on a rather tall mountain. It's kind of not easily seen. But it is there, and there's nothing between there and here which would be interfering with the signal. So, I mean, it's close enough, and there's no terrain or whatever in between here and there that would interfere. So I should still be getting what I have been getting. So, you know, and most of the time the interruptions would come external, so it was interfering with a lot of my stuff. Well, you remember the live stream we were on that got interrupted and we had to restart it. So then so like a couple of days ago, I guess it was, I called them again. No, I guess it was three days ago now. I called them again, or I contacted them on a messenger thing, and I kind of started getting the runaround from them, and they're like, give me your information, tell me who you are, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, this is, yeah. And so, they wanted me to tell them the whole story again, and I'm like, look, I contacted you guys like 3 weeks ago, I've given you all this information, nothing's changed, you told me such and such. I'm telling you now, there is still nothing between me and the tower. I can see the tower, you know, with a pair of binoculars from the window where I keep the jetpack thingy, the Wi-Fi jetpack. And it's obviously close enough, and there's nothing in the way, so I should still be getting the same connection. I've been in the same place roughly for 6 years, and I've had this jetpack for over a year now, and I haven't had any trouble until just a couple of months ago. I think maybe you guys thought you were going to get to pull a fast one on me and gouge me for more money because your pal Ajit Pai. And I said, well, I've, you know, 6 years, it hasn't been a minimal coverage area, so what's the deal? Why would it change? And, you know, stuff like that. And they're like, I finally got somebody to tell me that it might be because they are phasing out some of their towers because they're going to be replacing some of the 3G towers with 4G towers and maybe with 5G towers, I guess now, and stuff like that. So, I mean, it sounds good, but it's like I can't tell you how long it's going to be before we reconnect you, or before we can give you a better connection and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do in the meantime? I mean, you guys have a monopoly here. I don't have any other option except maybe satellite. I'm not even sure if they still offer internet in this area, and if they did, I would wind up paying them more than I pay you now, which is already god-awfully outrageous. Because of their overage charges. I mean, it's like you get 1 gig during the day, or during what they call prime time hours or peak, of unlimited internet. So you get like 6 hours of unlimited, which is okay because I'm a night person, but I'm also a night person and not just an after midnight night person, right? So between 7 and 1 or whatever in the morning, I'd be sitting here going, well, I can't really do anything for a few hours except screw around on the computer without being online. And you're going to have, every time the wind blows or there's a storm or anything like that, your signal is going to be interrupted a bit. And these are obviously not satisfactory options for a person who does gaming and a person who is a YouTuber. So I've gone through all this with them, and I've been as courteous as I could be, and I'm starting to lose my temper, and getting frustrated with them, and I start using language that probably some of them would think is not nice language, not ladylike or whatever. And it goes on for a while, and so like I say, well, okay, and so I get up the next day, and sometime in the afternoon, I turn on the jetpack, and it shows I've got 4G, and I'm like, oh, wow. So I get on, on my computer, and it never lets me connect. And I'm looking at the jetpack, and, beside where it says 4G LTE or whatever, and it has the little bars, that tell you how strong your signal is, it always has another thing there that shows an arrow up and an arrow down. So it tells you if you're able to upload or able to download. And I've got neither one. And then occasionally I get one that's just one or the other, but not both. And it's able to tell me how much data I've used for the month, or until my next rollover, and tells me when the next rollover is going to be, which it wouldn't be able to do, I've been assured by these people, if it weren't able to connect. So it's obviously able to connect, right? But they're not allowing me to connect for some reason, and I think they're just pissed off at me, basically. So I called them, back, and I started raising hell this time, and so I've had nothing since then. That was 2 days ago, so I've had to use Ethernet since then, instead of my normal Wi-Fi connection. Let me take another look at it, and hopefully it's doing something. I don't see any option showing here on the computer, but let me walk over there and have a look in the window. You guys, what do you guys want to talk about besides ISP bitchiness and gaming? Or we could talk about gaming some more. I mean, I don't really want to go on about the ISP forever, because it's just me, kind of complaining about my own personal shit that you guys probably don't want to hear about.
Something. Well, today I just went to see Deadpool 2 in the cinema, because we just got it in Spain. No spoilers, promised. Personally, I found it hilarious. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say in respect for our friend over here. Besides of that, what else I've been doing? Oh yeah, playing with a thing called Orcs Must Die. That's about it. But that's about it. Besides of that, well, what else can I tell you? What else can I tell you? Oh, apparently there's a massive purge of XXX content going on Steam.
No, they did it. Damn them.
Apparently there's how you call it? There's apparently that Valve is taking down content with nudity and you know that stuff.
You know what's bad is I have a game for my Nintendo Switch that is a puzzle game that has grotesque amounts of nudity that I bought from the Nintendo store directly. Congratulations, really? Valve. Nintendo is mainly suited for kids, and I was able to get a game with grotesque amounts of nudity in it.
Yeah, well, apparently we found some culprits on the whole thing going on with Steam. Wanna guess who it was? Apparently, an organization called NCOSE, aka Morality in Media, are taking credit for the removal of adult games from Steam.
It's just hentai. Calm down.
Apparently, this is the description they say. Morality in Media Incorporated changed its name to National Center on Sexual Exploitation in 2015 to better describe our scope and mission to expose the seamless connection between all forms of sexual exploitation. No corporation should profit from or facilitate sexual exploitation. The Dirty Dozen list includes Amazon, Twitter, YouTube, Comcast, HBO, EA Books. Our vision: all individuals have a right to be free from the effects of pornography and all other forms of sexual exploitation. And to that, you know what I say? Fuck off, tyrannical cunts.
Yeah,
I honestly can't tell if this is SJWs or conservative Christians.
I think it
both.
is. I think it's those intersectional neo-feminists. They seem to get their panties in a bunch over pornography, and I mean, you certainly. I'm sure how they got rid of grid girls. They're now trying to get rid of strip clubs, you know, which some people call titty bars in the United States. And they've already. Someone was showing me something about how they're going to have. Changing the uniforms at Hooters, and I'm like, I've still got a bartender's uniform from Hooters, you know, the black tank top with the black shorts. They're not particularly revealing, honestly. There's nothing inappropriate about them at all. If you work in a restaurant, you dumbasses, you know, it gets hot in there, right? And so you want to wear something that is, you know, going to keep you cool. I mean, when I worked in the pizzeria, the ovens were on 24/7, right? So it was hot in there all the time, even in February. So I mean, yeah, and if you're moving around, hustling, you know, waiting tables and stuff like that, yeah, it gets pretty hot. Not to have people gather around a bar you're in the middle of, and you've got a bar around you, so you have to go back and forth to deal with that. But yeah, it's not. And what the hell? Porn companies that are owned by women that make porn. Who is exploiting these women? How are they? Like the same thing they were saying about the grid girls. This is blah blah. And I'm like, you know, there really isn't anything wrong with objectification. What you really need to be concerned with is dehumanization. I mean, women objectify men too.
Yep. Now, the thing, what I'm trying to think is, well, the biggest issue of this so far is, I was gonna say something, but come on, brain, don't fuck me over right now.
Like the biggest thing with exploitation makes no sense is because one of the biggest sports in the world for the longest period of time was boxing. Boxing was known for its ring girls.
Yep.
Those girls are not exploited in the slightest. In fact, most of the time, they're the biggest fans of boxing. They get to know like especially in the UFC. The UFC card girls, the card girls will tell you firsthand. Oh no, we get paid. We get paid to not only look pretty, but we also get paid to watch our favorite fighters. They get to know the fighters. They get to love it. It's not always exploitative, especially with sports, because the women that are grid girls, whatever, they go to enjoy the sport.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of sexist to assume it's it's just exploitative and they're just there to look pretty. No, what if they got the job because they're pretty and they like the sport?
Right, and there's some talk about wanting to get rid of cheerleaders for the NFL now, too, and with what you've just pointed out, these are women who are very athletic. They engage in dance, which is not exactly something you can do if you're a couch potato or, so, I mean, what's going to happen to these girls whenever they don't have the option to work in these places? Where are they going to get a job? Do the neo-feminists give a fuck about that? No. The same way they don't give a fuck about how they're distorting. I've made this point before. The second wave feminists fought long and hard to try to convince American lawmakers and the judiciary system that asking what was she wearing is never appropriate in a rape trial, because women have been raped wearing baggy sweat clothes, whatever, have been raped wearing flannel shirts, baggy jeans, short skirts, long skirts, anything imaginable. It's not about what the woman was wearing, and she wasn't asking for it regardless of what she was wearing, But so, like, now we've got these, and I don't know whether they're third wave or fourth wave is the fourth wave, but I've seen some stuff on the internet recently, read and watched some stuff on YouTube and elsewhere that suggests that there is a fourth wave, and it started about 2012, and that's when all the intersectional stuff came in. And I don't know if you guys saw my versus intersectionality or intersectionality versus solidarity, but I pointed out in there that what happens when intersectionality, which sounds really like a good idea in the setting when you're talking about feminism and stuff, it sounds like a good idea. It sounds like it's something to strive for and everything. But when you get out in the real world, outside the ivy-covered halls of academia, into the streets and activism, the person who came up with the term and the idea, it seems like there's a gap, so well, that kind of thing. So, I mean, these girls, these little kids, basically 30s now, but these girls are raging about scantily clad characters in video games, and they talk about how there needs to be more diversity in the body shape and blah blah blah. Have none of these girls ever tried a massively multiplayer online role-playing game? Most of these games have extensive character customization. You can make your character short, tall, fat, or, oh my goodness, I fat-shamed by saying the word fat, or svelte, or scrawny, or male or female, or black or white, or green or red or purple, or, all kinds of different stuff. Especially in Star Trek Online, where we have the alien generator thing, where you can, like, kind of make up your own character almost from scratch. It doesn't allow you to do absolutely anything imaginable, but you can do some pretty interesting things with the alien generator thing. For example, I have a character I made with it who has silver eyes and antenna like an Orion, and green skin like an Orion, and antennae like an Andorian. Looks ordinarily humanoid, other than that, but I've seen characters in there that have been made to look like they have. I saw a guy in somebody. I don't know if it was a guy or what, but that show called Megamind, the movie. You ever? Yeah, the blue guy with the big head, like he's got a big cranium and kind of a little goatee. Somebody, anyway, like I said, in Star Trek Online not too long ago, who had made a character which looked exactly like that character Megamind from the movie. It was really quite impressive. I've seen people make Spider-Man in the game. I've seen them make Darth Vader. I've seen them make Imperial Stormtroopers from Star Wars. I've seen various other superheroes and superheroines and so forth. And I don't think these people really understand what gaming is about. I think probably more of us are interested in MMOs than we are in single-player games and stuff like that.